I bet you didn't know the Commanders have won 6 out of 7 and on their second 3-game win streak heading into MetLife Stadium on Sunday. Giants fans, you got to know your enemy, so we're bringing in DC sports expert Kelsey Nicole Nelson to break down this key divisional matchup that's got some huge playoff implications. Kelsey, let's get straight into it because 4 first-rounders on the D-line. This game is going to be won or lost in the trenches. So what makes the Commanders' D-line and defensive front so tough?
Well, first off, Brandon, thank you so much for having me. Though I took a little offense talking about enemy. I know I'm in enemy territory, but I come friendly before the game, all right? We're friends before the game. But as you mentioned, we're friends for now, Brandon. But as you mentioned, this defense is what needs to be talked about. This defense took a major turn after that primetime game against the Chicago Bears, which really began this Washington Commanders win streak. When you look at this defense now, you're looking at a defense that's 8th in yards allowed, 10th in points allowed, 10th in pass defense, and 8th in run defense. And yes, a big reason why is that defensive front. So one of the reasons why, of course, Jonathan Allen, Captain Jonathan Allen, playing lights out of football, doing the job that needs to be done. You know, one of my favorite plays of the entire game, he takes down Marcus Mariota, helps him back up and says, hey, I like you a lot, after he just sacked him. And remember, this is a defense that was able to hold the Atlanta Falcons to a mere 13 points and was really able to stop the Falcons going in that second half, which was really able to help the Washington Commanders get that win. But then also, you know, we call them the dangerous duo here in Washington, Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. And let's remember Daron Payne playing on a contract year, and he's playing like he wants that money. You know, that game-stealing interception that Kendall Fuller got, a big reason why was because Daron Payne put those hands up, tipped that ball, and then Kendall Fuller, he was able to clean up the rest of that and obviously secure that football. And then they're really making opportunities for other guys. You know, I know everybody wants to talk about the defensive front, and we know how well they're playing. Montez Sweat, another guy that deserves recognition coming off the edge of that defensive front. Montez Sweat has been special, and he continues to climb the franchise's all-time sack list, which is really exciting. He's also team leading in sacks, which I think is very exciting for this defense as well. If I'm Scott Turner, if I'm Jack Del Rio right now, I'm excited about what this defense has brought to the field. And then Taylor Heineke in his post-game interview, what did he say? He said, I'm thankful for that defense. I felt like we left points on the field, but that defense is really why Washington was able to beat the Atlanta Falcons. That's why they're sitting at that last place seat right now in the NFC as we look at playoff contention. And right now you have a red-hot Commanders team that's looking forward to playing the Giants on the road at MetLife Stadium. So lots to be excited about. And then also, let me just say, the defensive front helping to open opportunities from other guys like James Smith-Williams and Casey Tuchel, Jamin Davis, another guy that deserves recognition as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about that defensive front a lot, but I don't think a lot of people have been talking about the Commanders' run game. We're talking about a run game that racked up 176 yards with 5 different ball carries against the Falcons. So would you say that this is their identity on offense and how they've been so deadly running the rock?
Yeah, so Washington right now averaging 160.3 yards, folks, on the ground. And this win streak, running the football, has helped Washington. That's 5th most in the NFL. You know, Philadelphia is getting all the credit, but hey, give us some credit down here in Washington, D.C. as well. And there's a reason, folks, why Brian Robinson Jr. wore that big hat after the game. He earned it, over 100 yards in that game. You think about Brian Robinson's journey back to the football field after getting shot twice right here in Washington, D.C. A huge game for him. And, you know, we said Brian Robinson played grown man football. That receiving touchdown, he fought for it. And obviously, Pro Football Focus also giving him credit as one of the league's best running back, and he's continued to improve. Antonio Gibson also helping to deliver in that Washington run game, and Jonathan Williams as well. And, you know, Washington plays great football when they're able to be dynamic on the offense. So when you are able to take some stuff off of Taylor Heineke's back and run the football, it's going to help as a whole, because then you can do different things, and defenses don't know how to prepare for you. So that Washington run game is something to be very proud of in Washington, and I do think that's going to be a key to their success going forward. Now, I know the Giants is not going to be an easy test to do that against, but if they can continue this momentum and help to control the time of possession on that clock, that's what running the football is going to do, which makes us all the more excited about what's really been spurring up here in Washington. But again, Brian Robinson Jr., just that comeback story for him, and he continues to push the envelope. And of all, you've got to like what you're seeing right now from Washington on this run game. And again, helping that offense just be more dynamic.
Yeah, Giants rely on their run game as well, but you mentioned the name Taylor Heineke. The Giants can't afford Heineke madness at MetLife this Sunday. So his numbers, they aren't Pro Bowl worthy, but he's 5-1 as a starter. What is Taylor Heinicke? I keep saying Tyler. What is Taylor Heinicke doing or even not doing to keep winning games?
Don't worry about calling him Tyler. You know why? I said because he's earned now to be called Taylor. Before, nobody knew who he was. They didn't know if he was Taylor, Tyler. Who's this guy coming out of ODU? And once again, his number is called. Carson Wentz goes down. He's hurt. He fractured that finger. And then Taylor Heinicke's number is called. And let me tell you why folks like Taylor Heinicke in Washington, because he gets the job done. It might not be the prettiest. He's not Patrick Mahomes. We always talk about his arm strength, but he's been able to get guys involved in this offense. We love that his number one receiver is Scary Terry, one of the best but most underrated wide receivers right now in the football game. But also Taylor, again, he's able to get those first downs. He's been able to help his team fight for those third down conversions, help them control the time of possession. And Taylor's the guy that you have to like, because look how he's helped to turn this team around. This is a team, as you mentioned, they won 6 of the last 7 games, and they really put up a fight against the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins was almost not about to be wearing those chains around his neck after that game, obviously, but the Commanders just falling just short. But all of a sudden, and the Commanders are also a team, let's remember, folks, that have so much that they're dealing with off of the football field. But Taylor Heinicke has helped us focus on football in Washington. This is a Washington team that has been through a carousel of quarterbacks. And we keep saying that's the position we need to get right. But it feels like Washington hasn't got it right. Once again, Carson Wentz was supposed to be that answer. Folks, Carson Wentz right now is on the sideline for this Washington team. And actually one of Taylor Heinicke's biggest supporters, which I think has also been very special for Taylor Heinicke. But Taylor Heinicke is able to air the ball out when needed, and he's able to protect the football. But that is the big question for Taylor Heinicke, I think, as we move forward. He's playing good football, but sometimes he forces that ball and it makes us scratch our head, and he sometimes had those turnovers. If he's able to clean that up, I think Taylor Heinicke can be the guy that Washington can rely on the rest of the season. And let's just put to rest bringing Carson Wentz back in. He's making it work in Washington. The momentum is moving in Washington. And right now, fans have nothing but to be excited about Washington. And the legend of Taylor Heinicke, some fans are calling him because what he's been able to do to get this offense moving and going. He deserves partial credit for Washington's win streak and success thus far.
All right, final thoughts, 15 seconds. The Commanders win this game if, fill the blanks.
If they can protect the football, folks, we can't have any turnovers. And also the defense, we're going to need them to force turnovers. Kendall Fuller has had a turnaround season. If he can keep playing this great football and force a turnover to Daniel Jones, watch out for the Commanders, folks, and they just might get into that P word, the playoffs. And lots of folks here in Washington will be very excited and happy for that.
All right, Kelsey, thanks for joining us.
So appreciate your time. Thank you for having me.